Hello everyone, and welcome to the final part of this Archicad modeling series. My name is Namara Allen. We are welcome to Nalitech Studio, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, and let's start from where we did leave off. So previously we finished the model sort of, but I thought that one thing that is going to add a little detail to our model that we last made is to add something like a gutter, or you may call it a mold. So if you go to Archicad and in the object and you add in something like a mold, you'll get this thing that you can wrap around your roof to add more detail, to imitate what would be something like a gutter, or something that is detailing that sort of rim around the roof. So you may want to change its color pen to something that's more light, and then Ctrl D to drag it to place, Ctrl E to rotate, and then position it correctly and make it 45 degrees. Or if you go to 2D, you realize, of course, I put it on the roof plan and it is going to be in the wrong place. It's supposed to be right there, but you find it up there. So hold it, then Ctrl D to drag it to place, and I want it to be much bigger, so you can increase it using that option right there, and there it is. And of course that's the default, but you want to choose something that you like. Something like round 3 looks more better, a little bit better than that. So once you have done that, you can continue to duplicate it. So just Ctrl E to rotate, then grab it by Ctrl D, and then put those corners right there, move it to the extreme, and then Ctrl M to mirror that other side, such that you have this point that goes all the way down. And then you also can mirror that to this other side, and you have created a rim around this roof that is existing. So when we go into that elevation, you can see there. So even you want to do that for the first floor, so put something there. So you grab it into place, and we'll speed this up for you so I don't bore you all day with this. But essentially what you want to do is to put that sort of look onto the building that is those details that will definitely add something to the drawing. So go ahead and continue that for the rest of the drawing. And this is how it looks like in 3D. Of course, we have not done that for this small roof, which is right here. So you want to go ahead and do that, and rotate that in, and finally mirror also that. So when you see there, that is also added in, and that's pretty good. And then also we want to add a little more details for the place where the roof meets the wall, because essentially you would want to have something there. So grab a slab, put something very thin, like 25mm thick slab, and then change the material of it to something like the roof is, and then you can make it go up. Let's put it at 1.6 for now. We go in 3D and see that it is high, so you might want to select, drag it, Ctrl D to take it down somewhere like there. So you will multiply that to the rest of the building to give that extra detail. You know, those are the things that will trick your eye to believing that, you know, what I'm looking at is not just a render, it's something a bit more realistic, because that's what you would do for that part. And then maybe you can select it and choose another color because it's currently looking weird. Something black, we can tweak it in Twinmotion. So one more thing that we need to do is to correct, because we have currently 2 columns there adjacent, but you can drag one of them by going in edit mode of the railing and move it into position. So once you have placed it, it's okay, which is what would happen in real life. You have only 1 column right there and not 2, and that looks great. But now currently I have Twinmotion 2019 and it does not have the plugin to connect to Archicad 24, which is not good in this case. So I will need to save this as an Archicad 23 file. So I'll go ahead and rename this to Archicad 23 file, change it to Archicad 23 project, and save, because then I can be able to save. But of course the issue is going to be that if you save it, we are going to lose some things, like our precious objects that we added that are specific to 23 will be lost. But I'll show you what we can do in a couple of seconds. So save anyway, and just wait for it to do that. So once you have lost those objects, you can always go to some websites like 3D Warehouse, which is a SketchUp. And you look through, you can type in whatever you're looking for. For example, for our night scene, we might need some of these objects. So you can download some of the street lamps that you can import in Twinmotion for your rendering. We have lost something like a TV stand, so you can go ahead and look through what they have, and they are pretty good models. So there are also other sites that you can look at, but currently I like to use this one because it is free, and I am sure there are more free sites out there that can give you some of these things. So you go ahead and look at them. I have put the link in the description. Go to the 3D Warehouse, and all you need is an account with them. You just need to create an account with your email, and you can be able to succeed in doing that. So I think that I will go with this particular stand because that's what we chose, something simple, but you can choose any other that you like from the site, and make sure that you choose that option right there, which is a collada file. So that collada file, because that's what Twinmotion would read. Of course, we have lost those objects when you go ahead and look at that, and then we lost also a beautiful couch right there. But couches, I feel that Twinmotion has some good couches, so you can use some of Twinmotion's couches. So I think the model is ready. Now it's time to export. So go to the settings, and before you export, change that to material to no merge, and then make sure that you leave the rest the way they are, because that's what you want. And then you can direct link and open new project. So it will synchronize and all the data will be exported. And we say okay. So you want to synchronize, and then once it is loaded, zoom out and try to change settings to something of a quality that you like. So let's first work on those. Take the ground plane down, so you need to take the ground plane down, and I actually feel that this boundary wall is way too high. We can drop it in Archicad, and of course you can direct link. That's the beauty of working in real time, because you change one thing in Archicad, you can automatically update it right there. So once you have done that, I think the model is still slow. We need to go to edit preferences and then go to quality, and we choose medium for my case because I'm using a laptop. Depending on what machine you're using, you can choose any of these other that you find. So right now it's much smoother than it was. So we want to begin in Twinmotion from urban, then we go to change the background. So today we will choose a city, rotate it to something that we like, maybe that. Then you can change the light, which is in nurture localization, and you adjust that. Then you can take the slider for the weather to put some clouds in there. Then in the lighting, you want to increase some of these things just a bit, so slightly, to get a different look, and make sure the light is coming from behind you such that you have the subject matter well hid and well positioned. And then once more, put some ambient occlusion and you're good. Okay, so now we want to start adding some objects. So go to the slider, find the cars, and we can drop in maybe a serve. So drop it in there, rotate it, just rotate it, not control I. Okay, rotate it, and that looks about right. Just check to make sure it is not in the wall. And another object, we need to bring in the sofa that is in Twinmotion, which are a bit high res. So just find where it is, click it, drop it into the current view, and to rotate it, just hover over there, type in 180, and boom, it is already rotated to the correct look. And then you want to also add in some global illumination to make this space more like ambient, so to see what is happening in interiors. So we are supposed to import a TV stand in that space, and therefore we need to have, as we have it in view, go to import, which is the first option you have there. Find wherever you have it put, and I will do that in a sec for me. Of course, make sure that you have it extracted. So right click and extract into exactly current view. So when you come back here, you need to change from file from the current object to other, such that you can be able to see it. So import it in there, and of course Twinmotion will put it at the original place where you had your gizmo in the first place. So go around and try to look for the it, and there it is. If you try to move it by selecting one of those things, you will see that they are not together. So what you want to do essentially is to first go to where it is. I think let's rotate and look at it. So let's delete the screen. We already have the screen. And then these things, you want to go to the layers, which is on the top corner of your screen, and then find it. It's right there, Modo DAE. You can toggle it on and off. So with it selected, make sure that you have it selected and go back to the original place that you wanted to be. Just navigate to the space where we wanted to have, and that is it, and then grab it and put it there. Kind of a fast way to have it in a place that you need. So rotate it and have it at the precise position that you want. So of course we have an issue with our screen. It's a bit way in the way. If you try to scale our object, it's not working so well. So we will try and undo that. Let's just first position this thing to where we need it to be. And for our screen, we can change that in Archicad. So when you go to Archicad, we can try to put in some figure here. Let's try 600, something way above. Let's go back up there. When we synchronize, that's too high a bit. Is it? Let's look at that. Oh yeah, I think it's high. So select, and maybe we can put in 550. Yes, 550. Let's direct link and see what that looks like. So direct link, and oh yeah, that's fine. Now next we want to put in this vegetation, and to make this thing more alive, so drop it in there, even the grass, because we will be taking shots of spaces that are and here. So make sure that you just scatter the grass around, because especially in the areas where your camera will be in the foreground, so you can have and if you also intend to have some shots from to the back of the house, make sure that you put also some grass down there, because it will add something to the design. Remember, those little details can increase the way you experience from there. What's happening with this thing? Okay, put the grass there. Make sure it is only on the mesh and remove it from the road, obviously. And one thing that we can add is some walking place for this thing. So we can go in floor plan and in Archicad add some of the walkways, because obviously we need to think about someone who is walking. We don't want them to walk on our grass. So go ahead and create for them some things here, like concrete walk places. So make those small things and then duplicate them, and of course we need to adjust how they are, because currently they are too huge. Let's go to the settings by Ctrl T, and then let's take it down to -300, reduce the reference plane down and make it thin. So in 3D looks something like that. Yeah, good. So direct link, and there. Of course we can cut the rest of the thing using the camera. So that's essentially what you want to do. So now we can begin on the materials, I think. So, and zoom in a bit, just to get the material picker right there, and take the material slider down for that. Let's reduce the resolution a bit. Okay, now take the slider down. Okay, then pick that and increase the scale of it, and then of course reduce the color to something darker. Go to the stucco white rough, change the reflection to something like that, because hard surfaces do not need to be so reflective, and then increase the scale of that to something like 1. And then of course you want to do that for the line of gray, and Good thing with Twinmotion, you can save those materials you have created. So add to user library. And of course I have some materials already made, so can drag and drop them into the scene. So we already have a glass material, we already have a metal there, and you can add only something to only that object by changing that to apply to object, and then you just drop it to that object. And then of course you also can replace the material. For this case, for the roof, we can do something radical. We can put the roof here, change it to black, say okay, and then we can also reduce the saturation of it to have it, you know, a bit more less of a too black. So the good thing, we can also copy that, paste the values in this slider, and yeah, it looks like this one. So we can take the reflection of that thing down, and this also down, and then make sure that it is not too reflective, otherwise you have issues with your scene. Just to put this slider down and go around the model to increase reflection where it needs to and reduce it where it should be reduced. So that is essentially how you work with the materials. And speaking of which, we also have the concrete. So okay, so here we need to also work on this garage entry. So let's look on a wood material. So when you get the wood, I think we can try something that has a slider, that has a slider on, and increase the scale of it. Well, I think I like the color of this, but not how it looks like. So you can get any other material now, like this material which has those slidings, and I think they have been placed in a weird way, in a wrong way. So you can go ahead and change the orientation of those, and the way you want to change the orientation of these things is to go to the scale right there and look at rotation and put in 90, and now they're correctly done. So we can paste our value right there, and it looks how we want it and just how we want. So the rest of the materials, I'll speed it up for you as I drop them. Okay, so the boundary wall and the background there. So even when you have reduced the vegetation to 0, you can reduce the scale further using that slider. Yeah, if you want something way smaller than what is given, but that's good. So even this metal, I think it can use some of this to the yes. So now we want to take this reflection down for the wood, so we don't have wood that is too reflective. And now the lights. So we have the lights there. To appreciate them, we need to take the day up to something that is dark, right there. So just drop it in, and there you have it. And of course you can put a glow material to that place such that the light is not coming from darkness. So you want to look for neons and then drop them in, and of course you can increase the glow of them, and then of course you want to position it correctly. And with that thing still selected, you want to change the attenuation values. So if you kind of select it, you will have those values there and you can work with them. Maybe 3 meters, 4 meters, or 5. No, that's too much, about 4. And increase the intensity, that's too much. And then you can put in the value, the lumen values, if you know how much the lamp should glow. So you can now replicate these things over. So let's make instances of them, because then when we change the value of one, you can change the value of all. And you may not want to instance lights that are not the same, so be careful which lights you're instancing. So add in some more lights so we can see what we're doing, and grab that light, take it back to there. So for the lights that are looking the same, you want to essentially put in those lights in a way that is easy to adjust. So one more thing that I like to show you is how to create an image. So you can go ahead, if you have duplicated the lights, even to the interior spaces, just one more thing that I can show you is create an image. Just hit create, position the camera well, and in the settings you want to go to more, change of course to 4K, and then make that 50. It looks much better. Also enable perspective, you'll have something nice. So adjust and update, sure to hit that update button. And then one more thing that you can look at is reducing the white balance such that you have something that is cool, because in the night it's cooler. Okay, so take the slider down and look at what Twinmotion can do. Look at those backlights. Isn't that interesting? Of course, you can go ahead and put in the lights in the interior space, but that's the idea. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.